To the rebound Milwaukee and getting back to living life. 4 major cultural institutions in our city will reopen this month, 3 of them this week. In a TMJ4 News exclusive, I gathered the leaders from the Milwaukee Public Museum, Milwaukee Art Museum, Discovery World, and the Harley-Davidson Museum for a candid conversation. How they've worked together to coordinate their reopening plans, and why they think it's not only safe, but really important that they open their doors once again. It's an empty sound in an empty gallery. One pair of shoes on the Calatrava floor.
He's cleaning He's literally cleaning it, yep.
Nobody home at Discovery World but a few volunteer cleaners. The streets of Old Milwaukee are empty. And there's no rumble at the Harley-Davidson Museum, where this prominent portrait looks back on the global pandemic a century ago.
What was the trigger that allowed you as a group to say, okay, we can start to safely reopen our facilities?
I think it really was having the health department comfortable with what we're doing, and then having those numbers coming down too. And so we've really been taking our lead from the health department.
It will be different. There will be a little less to discover with your hands at Discovery World.
We haven't been allowed to touch anything for the last year, so I'm curious to know whether or not you will still allow some of the interactivity that makes Discovery World so wonderful.
Yeah, well, interactivity is something that is central to our organization, and so we had to do some creative thinking about how can we maintain at least a portion of that.
You'll still be able to touch stuff at Discovery World. They know that's important and part of the experience. This museum will close for 1 hour each day in the middle so they can wipe everything down.
Each museum will have some spaces closed off. One-way traffic. Most will have timed ticketing, and
all of the museums are going to have hand sanitizing stations all over the place.
One of the things that we've discussed in these conversations is we really all want to have the same set of guidelines and practices so that the community knows that when they go to any museum, they're going to be experiencing the same kinds of things.
All of these leaders praised their members and donors for sustaining operations while the doors were closed. You still have to feed the fish and maintain the art.
Even when visitors are not at the museum, back of house is still very active because we still have to maintain our facilities, we have to secure the objects, we have to make sure that our climate conditions are appropriate, our conservators are in the galleries inspecting and cleaning, so all of that work continues.
All of our earned revenue streams, they all dried up, so whether that's admissions, parking, food service, private events, programmatic fees, you name it, all of those went down to zero when we were closed. And so getting back on track is going to be important.
And not sustainable long term with limited entries and paying guests. But for now, they'll just be happy to hear the dinosaurs and the Harley bikes roar again.
I don't think it's an overstatement to say there's a psychological health that goes into being able to do things and connect with the things that you love, and you provide that for people.
Yeah, Vince, I would say, maybe now more than ever at this point in the pandemic and, at this point of the year when I think we all naturally might have cabin fever anyway, that people are just really looking, to get out and do something. And that's what our institutions, can offer people.
They are fully and totally prepared at this point, Susan, to open those doors again. Everything's cleaned and everything is ready to go.
Yeah, they certainly sound like they're looking forward to having visitors again. Did they talk at all about capacity? Would they allow only a certain number of people to attend at a time?
Yeah, limited numbers. And so if you want to go to one of the museums, I think Harley-Davidson is a little more open since they have a larger space, but it'll be timed entry. So only so many at 9 o'clock, only so many at 10 o'clock, etc. So that'll be limited for a while until it's not. The Milwaukee Public Museum opens Thursday, Art Museum and Harley-Davidson on Friday, Discovery World later this month. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll spend more time inside each of the museums, how one-way traffic may actually enhance your experience, and some of the other things specifically that you'll see inside your favorite exhibits. That's all coming up just before 7 o'clock.
And as Wisconsin works to rebound from the pandemic, we have compiled a list of resources to help you get by. If you're a small business owner and need help, we have more information for you at tmj4.com.